Morning and welcome to Prakash Vidyalaya, where students love to learn. I am Ramnas Bera, your English teacher, and today we are going to do chapter 4 of class 7. Dear students, please be ready with your textbooks in front of you. Honeycomb, lesson 4, the ashes that made trees bloom. A wonderful story. A wonderful story with a beautiful moral in it for us all to learn. And here, William Elliot Griffiths, the author, presented a beautiful Japanese story here. Let's see what this story tells us about the ashes that made the trees bloom. How come ash can make trees bloom? William Elliot Griffiths, the author, he was born in September 17, 1843, February, and died on February 5th, 1928, was a prolific author, an educator, and a missionary, an extensive traveler. Griffiths made 11 trips to Europe. He was invited by Japan for the purpose of organizing schools along modern lines and went on to become a member of the Asiatic Society of Japan and Korea. A great educationist too, I believe, because he was one among to organize the schools along modern lines. So let us see what he has to tell about the trees. Ashes that made trees bloom. It is a Japanese tale of 19th century. There lived an old couple with their pet dog, Muko. The dog's name was Muko. They doted on the dog like their child, and the dog too reciprocated their feelings. They loved their dog like their child, and the dog too was very good as if their own child. The old man was a rice farmer and worked hard with his hoe from morning till dusk. Muko would follow him everywhere, and every day to the fields too. One day, the dog came running to him, winning and monitoring him to follow him to a certain place. And as you know, dogs are the best pets, lovable animals. And it once called the old man to a particular spot. The old man followed Muko, who started scratching at the place. And Muko, the dog, started scratching the soil, and let's see what they found. The old man, taking the clue, dug the place and found a lot of gold. Thereafter, life changed for the old couple for good, and they brought land, gave feasts to their friends, and plenty of poor neighbors. There in the same village lived another greedy old man with his wife, who were very insensitive to dogs, but hearing the good luck of the good couple, they tried to lure Muko by giving him fish, hoping that they would meet the same fate as the old farmer and Muko would find them treasure. But nothing that sort happened, because the greedy are always greedy and they get in return what they greed for. If they greed for money, they get paid. Muko did begin to scratch and dig near a pine tree, and the greedy couple soon joined him. To their disappointment, there was nothing but a dead kitten. Enraged, the old man killed the dog. Muko was dead, and their master, the old man, and the good lady could not see Muko again. The owners of Muko mourned his death on the dog's grave. The old farmer put flowers and incense sticks. That night, Muko's spirit appeared to the old farmer in his dream. And in his dream that day, Muko's spirit came in a dream to the old farmer and said, he asked him to cut down the pine tree over his grave and make from it a mortar and rice pastry and a mill for the bean sauce. And as advised, the old man started making the mortar and pestle and a mill for bean sauce. The old couple followed the dog spirit's instruction. The mass of dough ready for baking the pastry suddenly changed into gold coins. It's wonderful. Miracles happen when good is always done. The old couple was rich again. The envious neighbors had noticed this. They borrowed the mortar and the magic mill, but to their dismay, their pastry and sauce turned into worms. Angry, they cut the mill into pieces and burnt it. Just you see how things result when you become envious of someone. People who are envious of others, they always result in distress. The good old man dreamed again, and this time the dog spirit told him to take the ashes of the mill and spread it on the withered pine tree, and they would start blooming again. It was wonderful. As advised by the dog said, you just sprinkle the ashes of this pine tree, of this mortar and pestle on the withered tree, and it would bloom again. The old man obeyed and sprinkled the ashes on pine tree, and there were full bloom which perfumed the air. Greedy couple too gathered the remaining ashes of the mill. The lord, the daimyo, was to pass along the high roads of the village that day. During those days it was a custom that when the lord passes by, the common people had to kneel down respectfully until the procession passed. No one could stand and look at the daimyo or the lord. A tall man would march ahead asking people to kneel down when the train passed. The train or the procession. The procession is also called train. But the aged man was up to the tree. Seeing his old age, the tall man didn't say anything to him. The old man then sprinkled the ash from his basket, scattered it over the tree, and shortly there was blossom everywhere. The daimyo was delighted to see the wonder, thanked the old man, served him with gifts, and also invited him to his castle. And on hearing the same news, the greedy couple, they too started taking out the ashes, and they tried to do the same when daimyo passed. When the greedy neighbors came to know of this, they took the magic ash to the highway. When the daimyo's train came along, he didn't kneel down, but got on the withered cherry tree and scattered a handful of ashes. But lo, nothing took place. The ashes flew in the air and fell in the eyes of daimyo and his wife, and they got enraged and ordered the guards to catch the old fool and give him sound beating. And when this was done, the old greedy man was left dead after the beating was over. The kind old couple, friend of dog, lived peacefully till the green old age. So, what do we learn from this story, children? It says that greedy is always a vice. Being greedy is always painful. Greedy brings pain and distress to us if we feel greedy in our mind. If we feel envious about others' goodness, that shows that we are inviting trouble. So always see that, be good, never try to be envious of others, never try to be greedy, be content with what you have. God is always pleased with those who are pleased with themselves. Thank you for today's lesson and hope you understood the moral of it.